In the near future, the US government deploys a chemical attack nationwide to reset society, resulting in the deaths of millions in mere minutes. Following the attack, the government does nothing to restore order, leaving survivors with two choices: join one of the violent gangs controlling territories or live as a domestic, seeking peace in a broken world. Months later, Mark and Nina, a couple who had considered divorce before the attack, are preparing to travel to Milwaukee in search of Nina's parents. Despite warnings from Mark's friend about the dangers of the journey, Mark insists on going to support Nina, who he still loves. During their trip, they listen to a radio host advising domestics to avoid highways, watch for snipers, and beware of the Sheets gang, who are notorious for killing anyone they target. Their car breaks down, forcing them to stop at an abandoned garage. While Mark tries to repair the vehicle, three men enter the shop. They don't see the couple hiding, and Mark quietly prepares to return to the car. Suddenly, a truck crashes into the shop, and members of the Sheets gang open fire, killing the three men. As Mark starts the car, the noise alerts the gang, but luckily, they manage to drive away before the Sheets can attack them. On the radio, they hear that the Sheets are engaged in a turf war with the Nailers. Later, they stop at an abandoned house to rest, and Nina searches for supplies while Mark inspects the rooms. He discovers a gruesome scene in the bedroom, a couple who was violently murdered. Mark covers their bodies out of respect. Nina tries to contact her mother via an old radio, but there's no response. That night, Mark updates their map and falls asleep, unaware that someone is watching them from outside. The next morning, a man and his friend are captured by Nailers, who threaten to kill them with a chainsaw unless they reveal the location of a woman. The man provides the information, but is shot along with his friend. Nina hides in the attic when she hears the Nailers approaching. As they search the house, Mark silently eliminates one intruder, then fights and kills another. The couple leaves quickly, unaware that they are being watched again. Later, they hear on the radio about a member of the Cherry gang who is saving women and killing anyone who stands in her way. They stop at a supermarket for supplies and are confronted by an armed man, Nathan, who removes his mask and introduces himself. He explains he was watching them to ensure they were friendly. The situation escalates when Nailers enter the store searching for Nina. Nathan's son, Steven, shoots and kills the Nailers from his hiding spot. Afterward, Nathan invites the couple to dinner with his family and offers them a ride in his tow truck, which is towing their car. As they try to leave, they are blocked by the Plowboys, a gang patrolling the area. Their leader, Jim, informs them that the Gamblers gang is nearby and reveals that a woman named Betsy, trapped in a truck, is the Cherry gang member they've been hearing about. Jim expresses interest in Nina, but Nathan convinces him to let them pass. However, they don't realize Dean, a man they thought was dead, is still watching them. Later, at Nathan's house, tension between Mark and Nina is palpable as they discuss their troubled past. Nathan and his wife are affectionate, even dancing together. After dinner, Nathan reveals that the hamburgers they ate were made from human flesh. Mark, disgusted, asks Nathan not to tell Nina and announces their intention to leave. Nathan refuses and threatens Mark with violence. Suddenly, Dean bursts in, holding Nathan's daughter hostage. He demands Nina and Mark, but Nathan agrees to exchange them for his daughter. As Dean pushes the girl forward, Steven attacks, cutting Dean's legs and causing him to fall. During the struggle, Nathan's wife is shot and Mark drags Nina away. Steven continues to stab Dean until he's dead. The couple steals Nathan's car to escape, but once they're back on the road, Nina tells Mark she no longer wants to travel with him, leading to a heated argument. As they drive, the gamblers spot them and spin a wheel, which lands on a skull, signaling the sniper to shoot. Nina is hit in the shoulder, prompting Mark to turn the car around and head back toward town. Meanwhile, Nathan contacts Jim, informing him that the couple is up for grabs. Jim, eager to capture them, rushes out to find his men, only to discover they're all dead. Just then, Betsy strikes him from behind with a pipe, knocking him unconscious. After freeing all the women the gang had captured, she grabs some weapons from a nearby table and drives off in a police car. As she drives, she grows irritated by Jim's noises coming from the trunk, so she stops the car and shoots him in the leg. Hearing something moving in the forest, Betsy goes to investigate but forgets the car keys in the trunk, locking herself out. The next morning, Nina wakes up in a cabin with her shoulder bandaged. Mark isn't there, but he left a note explaining he went out for food. When she tries to leave, she finds another note warning her that the front door is booby-trapped. Instead, she exits through the window and spots a car in the garage. Rushing back to gather her things, she discovers another note urging her to listen to music, along with a record containing her favorite song. The final note is from Mark, apologizing and asking her not to give up on their marriage. Overcome with guilt, Nina decides to stay, listening to the music and drinking as she dances. Betsy watches her from outside until Nina takes a break, after which she returns to the car and finally kills Jim. Meanwhile, Mark explores an abandoned house and finds two prisoners with bags over their heads. Upon removing the bags, he's shocked to discover it's Nathan and Steven. Suddenly, a madman named William appears, pointing a gun at Mark and forcing him to drop his weapon. William, a lover of ultraviolence, introduces his slave, Big Bill, and insists that Mark fight Bill to the death. If Mark refuses, William will kill Nathan and Steven. Mark hesitantly prepares for the fight and kicks Bill in the groin, but Bill blocks it and strikes him with such force that Mark is knocked down. Bill then throws Mark around, kicks him, and lifts him by the neck, choking him while William enjoys the spectacle. Mark headbutts Bill, forcing him to drop him, but Bill quickly grabs him again, throwing him against some furniture. Bill attempts to break Mark's neck, but Mark bites his arm, causing Bill to throw him toward William. During the struggle, the gun goes off, killing William. Mark then frees Nathan, Steven, and even Big Bill, and they part ways. Returning to the cabin, Mark finds Nana sleeping on the couch and moves her to the bed. Later, Nana wakes up to see Mark practicing his shooting. She asks him to teach her how to use a gun. While they're busy, Betsy sneaks into the cabin and finds Nina's wedding ring. After their shooting practice, Nina takes Mark to the garage to show him the car she found. Mark grows nostalgic, remembering that he used to own the same model. The couple shares an intimate moment in the backseat. However, the gamblers soon arrive, revealing that the car belongs to them. They immediately capture the couple and spin a wheel to decide their fate. When it lands on a spade, they're thrown into cages and taken to the gamblers' headquarters at a rundown motel, filled with drinking and fighting. At the motel, the receptionist realizes the couple is married and directs them to the Snake Eyes suite. There, host begins taking bets as Mark and Nina are bound to chairs with one hand tied to each chair and the other hand painfully drilled into two guns placed on a table. One bullet is loaded into each gun for a deadly game of Russian roulette. The host warns them that if they refuse to fire, 2 more bullets will be added. If they survive 6 rounds, they will be allowed to leave. Mark advises Nina to shoot without hesitation, but she negotiates with the host, requesting 3 extra bullets in Mark's gun in exchange for agreeing to only 2 rounds. The host agrees and the game begins. The gamblers count down and both guns are fired, but neither of them is harmed. Unfortunately, in the second round, Nina's gun fires and the bullet lands in Mark's shoulder. While the host is distracted by a fight breaking out over the betting money, Nina manages to free her hand from the restraints and steals the host's gun. Nina shoots the man twice, then aims at the table to free her hands. As she helps Mark walk, she uses the gun to threaten the remaining gang members, shooting the host when he tries to intervene. She finally kills him, but Wanda, seeking revenge, orders the others to let the couple go for now. Once Mark and Nina escape, Wanda and the others rush to retrieve their weapons. The couple tries to find a working car, but is spotted by snipers on the roof. Before they can fire, Betsy takes them out. Mark and Nina speed away, but Wanda and the gamblers open fire, missing every shot. Wanda, frustrated, punches one of the gamblers and vows to track down Mina. Hours later, Mark wakes up in Mina's childhood home in Milwaukee. The neighbors inform her that her father passed away from illness and her mother died shortly after, choosing to be with him. Nana reads a letter left behind by her mother. She then asks the neighbors how they maintain peace in the suburbs despite the threat of the gamblers. They explain their system of car barricades, sniper patrols, and explosive traps hidden in mailboxes. Mina feels comforted by the neighborhood's precautions and is happy to reunite with Phil, an old family friend. Meanwhile, Betsy arrives and takes cover in the house across the street, keeping an eye on Mina's home. Nina later notices Phil talking on a walkie-talkie, and when she tries to approach, he runs inside. Suspicious, she follows him and uncovers that Phil has been in contact with the gamblers, who will be arriving soon. At the same time, Nina spots a young girl on the street and pulls her into the house just before the gamblers arrive. Nina gives Mark a gun to protect the child while she steps outside to confront the gang. The gamblers exit their vehicles and start searching the area, but Nina ambushes them, killing several members. The gang takes cover behind a car and returns fire, forcing Nina to hide. Betsy, using a machine gun, mows down a number of gang members, but the gamblers focus on her. As Nina reloads, a gambler sneaks up on her, but Mark shoots him through a window. Wanda, refusing to back down, continues to fight, prompting the neighbor on sniper duty to join in the shooting from the roof. Betsy runs out of ammo and has to retreat, while Nina throws a homemade smoke grenade into the street. Inside the house, a gang member surprises Mark and starts choking him. Mark fights back, breaking the horn off the man's mask and stabbing him in the eye before tackling him and delivering a fatal blow to the chest. Meanwhile, Nina keeps fighting and Betsy realizes she's been shot. The Plowboys arrive looking for Betsy to avenge Jim, but they get caught in a gunfight with the gamblers. The Plowboys' truck destroys the car barricade, giving Nina a chance to activate the barbed wire, causing a huge explosion when the truck hits it. The neighbor sniper shoots the last gambler, but is killed by Wanda. Inside the house, Betsy approaches Mark and returns Nina's wedding ring. Wanda enters, shooting Betsy in the head and prepares to kill Mark. However, Nina intervenes, taking Wanda down. With all the gang members dead, Nina heads to Phil's house to kill him, only to find he's already dead. After confirming he had a gang tattoo, she sees her father's favorite gun on the table and takes it. As she leaves, she notices the child staring at Phil's house in a way that unsettles her, remembering rumors of a gang of children. Later, Nina gives Mark her father's gun, and in return, he places the wedding ring back on her finger. Once they heal from their wounds, the couple sets out on the road again, determined to hunt down gang members and protect other domestics. The radio host warns listeners not to cross paths with them. Mark and Nina continue their journey, a new chapter in their fight for survival.